began. Crazy as it sounds, but it began with my hands inside of a cadaver. And I began to appreciate this thing called life more than ever. And that's when I began to have the understanding that the body doesn't need any assistance, just no interference to its functioning. Primarily speaking, that interference was neurological. And from that day forward, I vowed to serve humanity with this gift called chiropractic. And by doing so, I was in the hopes of putting a smile on God's face by doing what I was supposed to be doing here. Understand that upper cervical care or chiropractic at all is not supposed to fix a thing. It just simply restores function to give the body the best opportunity to heal and operate on its own. It's really all about performance. So the heart works in a certain way, and the lungs and the liver and kidney and everything's functioning the right way. But believe it or not, the body's kind of like a safety pin. The brain tells the body and the body tells the brain. It kind of communicates back and forth. But what we tend to forget is what's keeping us alive. I love asking that question. I ask new clients of mine, I sit down with them, and it's even more fun with kids. And I just said, what keeps us alive? And people usually say, well, my heart. I said, okay, I agree. So your heart keeps us alive. And some people say your lungs. And I said, sure, I agree. And I said, so what keeps your heart alive? Or your lungs alive? And then they look at me and then they'll have that aha and they'll go, oh, your brain. I said, okay. So then what keeps your brain alive? And that's where people get stumped. Because us as humans always have to know the why. Seriously, what keeps our brain alive? When the sperm and the egg united, like I stated earlier, it formed one cell. And that cell began to split. And as those cells split and split and split, they finally united and they formed this tissue called the neural streak. This neural streak grew a balloon and grew a tail. The balloon was the brain and the tail was the spinal cord. But the first part of the body that was formed is the brain stem. It's the brain stem is where our cardiac center that controls our heart, our respiratory center that controls our lungs, our coughing, our sneezing, our digestion is all controlled within this area. Houston control, if you will. It's the main source of what keeps the body alive. You can be born, unfortunately. This happens to very few people, thank God, but you can be born without a brain and be alive. It's called hydroanencephaly. The entire skull is full of fluid, yet you're alive. You're in a coma, but yet you're alive. And as long as you had a tube in your stomach to feed you, you would live to 60, 70, 80 years old. Your spinal cord can be compromised, damaged, borderline cut in half, and you can still be alive. You may be paralyzed, but you'll be alive. So what's keeping us alive? It's the brainstem. So when there's a neurologic compromise at the base of the skull due to the misalignment, what I told you earlier, the subluxation called the subluxation at the base of the skull, this interferes with function down below, which is maybe our arms, legs, spine, hips, heart, lung, liver, kidney, everything down below. But what about things above? Brain tumors, headaches, allergies, sinus issues, hearing, eyesight, swallowing, Alzheimer's, depression, Parkinson's, OCD, ADD, all those crazy diagnoses. There's over 26,000 different named conditions in the world. And all of them have one thing in common: an abnormal functioning part of the body. And if that part of the body was restored to normal functioning, why wouldn't the body build itself well again? It should. Heck, if you were to fall down and cut your knee open, it would heal. God forbid you break your bone or have to have stitches. You will heal. So if those things will heal, why won't a cancer tumor go away on its own? Why won't allergies go away on their own? It's because we hold on to them. We give them ownership. Possession, if you will. When the nerve system's working the right way, all we have to do then is get out of the way. Eliminate any stressors or variables in our life. And watch our body heal. Yes, we do have limitations to our body. As we get older, the healing is slower. There's more spinal decay or abnormal functioning or just breaking down of certain joints. We all experience that. But our body's still maintained by the nerve system to our very last breath. This is why I have a difficult time with vaccines, flu shots, medications, because all of them work on an outside-in premise. If the problem comes from the inside, the answer's in the inside. So why are we seeking outside of the body for the answer? Doesn't make sense. And then we run for the cure. We raise money for this or that. What you're raising money for are drugs. And drugs do one of two things. They speed up or slow down an abnormal functioning system. If you have high blood pressure, the heart is pumping too much. So what happens? You take a drug to slow the pumping down. If you have constipation, you take a drug to speed up colon function, stimulate it so you have a bowel movement. If you have diarrhea, you take a drug to slow it down so you stop having diarrhea. But it's not fixing the problem. If you're reading this right now and you're on medication, if you stop that medication, what would happen? Your problem would come back. Because it's always there, it never went away. Medicine has never cured a thing. It's the body's ability to use whatever you give it to restore normal function and to fix itself. Believe it or not, I've never healed or cured or fixed anybody. It's not the case. It's because I didn't create you. I'm a doctor, yes, but by definition, a doctor simply means educator. That's what I do. I teach people about the unbelievable potential that we all have. That we heal from above down, inside out, not outside in. Nor do I want to make an adjustment to your spine. Even at being a chiropractor, I do not want to adjust your spine, but rather I want your spine to be holding its adjustment. You don't look forward to going to the doctor and they take your blood pressure. You don't look at the blood pressure cuff and say, boy, I hope that's high. You don't go to the dentist and say, I really hope I have a cavity. So why would you go to the chiropractor and look forward to an adjustment? Wouldn't you like to go to the chiropractor and know the chiropractor examines your spine and says, hey, what I did the last visit is still working? It's holding its correction. Everything's maintaining itself. Your body's working at its optimum right now. It doesn't need any assistance. Go have a great day. See you in a month. That makes more sense to me. Why not maintain your health versus allowing it to go to the wayside and then struggle to regain it? After all, maintaining is much easier than regaining. So what if you were holding your adjustment 2-3 months? How about 6 or 8 months? That's given the body the best ability to maintain itself, to adapt to the environment, to handle stressors, to live at a higher functioning level, to where our emotions are in a clear state, as well as our thoughts, where our relationships begin to change, where we don't take ownership of certain things. Let's talk about ownership for a second. I apologize if you've been diagnosed with a condition, because in front of that diagnosis you put a word in front of it that will forever ruin your life. And it's called my. My cancer, my tumor, my diabetes, my constipation, my headaches, my gout, my pain, my. It's not yours. Look it up in the dictionary. Google it. See if your face is next to that diagnosis. Why do we own it? Why not switch from my to thee? The cancer, the tumor, the sore throat. Or this. This headache is driving me crazy. This stomach ache is aggravating me. Why do we take possession over it? Again, what the mind believes, the body achieves. And your body will just come in agreement with your thoughts. So here's the thing. If you look at the diagram on this page, you will see you in the center of the circle, or at least in the center of the diagram. And then from there branches out family, work, relationships, God, hobbies, all the different things that are in your life. It doesn't matter what the bubbles are. You can put anything in these circles. But there's one that's there, it's called health. And you ever notice that when you're diagnosed with something, the first thing that we do is we take us out of the center of our life and swap it with the diagnosis. So we put the diagnosis in the center of our life and us on the outside of our life. I can't eat this because I have that. I can't go there because I have that. I can't do this because I have that. I need this thing because I have that. You see what I mean? Our life now revolves around that condition versus us revolving around our own lives. Sooner or later, we have to say, not anymore. I'm done with this thing. We break the state of our thought process and begin to move forward by letting go of that diagnosis and taking control of our life again. I'm not saying to disregard what the doctor's telling you. What I'm saying is you have to regain power and come in agreement or disagreement with that diagnosis. I can appreciate it, doctor. Thank you for doing what you do and creating that diagnosis and giving me what I need to have right now, but I am not taking ownership of that. I am moving forward. That's how we should think, but we don't. And we get brainwashed into thinking that we need medication for the rest of our life. Every 32 seconds, there's a drug ad on TV. We're convinced that we're stupid, inferior, not good enough, that our bodies and our life and every aspect of who we are needs assistance. Nothing's wrong with somebody coaching you as a health coach or an emotional coach or relationship coach. But a coach is going to show you and give you some action steps, and then you go play this thing called life. Versus somebody who's counseling you over and over and over for years and years and years, and you're still in the same state that you're in. That's a problem. It wastes time and money. Most doctors, regardless of what specialty that they're in, are not giving you the power back. They're taking power away from you. But when you live a getting weller lifestyle and have the mindset of simply stating that I got this, I can do this, you begin to get well in every aspect of your life. And when you do, you get free of this condition that's owning you.